Log on to HRTV.com for more information.
Coming up on HRTV's Rewind.
It's a thriller through the line. Champ Pegasus, Joel Rosario, Bourbon Bay and Rafael Bejarano knows extremely close. Champ Pegasus maybe a millimeter. Bourbon Bay's right there.
Hey, listen, I've got to go watch my horses gallop. Can you hold these guys a minute? And just in case, here's this.
I'm in 100% agreement. He was a totally different horse today.
Heads are turned for home. Is this to be 1,000 for Joel Rosario?
Were you hoping that Joel would just take the matter into his own hands?
I think Jeff's ass is Joel's.
Hello, this is Jeff Siegel here to catch you up on a jam-packed week at HRTV.
Clouds have parted, the fog has cleared, it is a gorgeous day, and I probably have to start by congratulating you on what's been just a super meet so far. 2 purse increases. What's the key, particularly in such a difficult climate otherwise?
Well, I think part of it is a reflection on last year when we had some real difficult weather. And the weather has not been easy this winter either, but we've gotten back on the turf course quite a bit, and quite honestly, I think the quality of racing has improved, and wagering around the country has shown that. As it is, purse increases are just something that makes everybody happy. Morale goes up, and and hopefully that's something that bodes well for the rest of the meet too.
Well, big stakes race days are not necessarily brand new, but they're relatively new here at the fairgrounds. But obviously they've been successful, and today a great example of that with just a super card from start to finish. You've got to be really pleased with the way today came together.
Yeah, I really am. Jason Boulay and his staff really put together a great card, and the Risen Star is probably the shining example. As far as 3-year-old preps go to date, I would have to say I believe it's probably the toughest one and most contentious. So we're very proud of the way this day turned out, and I think what this shows is that coming up to as we end our meet in 4 weeks with the Louisiana Derby, that we've just got some great stuff coming.
The Risen Star was the feature race at Fairgrounds on Saturday, a race whose name is as monumental as it's running.
Now the Risen Star, obviously one of the features at the fairgrounds.
Okay.
One of the best horses to not win the Triple Crown, in your opinion?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, he could have won the Derby, and we know he won the Preakness and the Belmont. Yeah, absolutely. Eddie D didn't quite know him in the Derby, but he knew him well in the last 2 races.
When he ran third in the Preakness,
yes.
or when he won the Preakness, who was third?
In the Preakness when he won?
When he won. Who was third?
Winning colors.
The Derby winner.
I know that.
With our own Gary Stevens.
Absolutely.
In the saddle. And the Risen Star lives up to its name. Quality race.
Oh, yeah.
All the ingredients were in place for a good story. A good-looking son of Secretariat who had won the Louisiana Derby, his colorful Cajun connections, and a very unlikely rooting section. Risen Star and his quirky entourage were the talk of the 1988 Triple Crown. Co-owner Ronnie Lamarck was a car dealership owner with a passion for singing.
When Star wins it here, our Star will be Horse of the Year.
Risen Star's trainer and Lamarck's partner, Louis Russell, didn't let Kentucky Derby tradition get in the way of comfort. And the colt's most devout fans, the little sisters of the poor, prayed for Risen Star.
Risen Star has been our favorite horse.
Divine intervention, however, couldn't help him in the Kentucky Derby. After a wide trip under Eddie Delahousse, Risen Star could only manage a fast-closing third under the winning filly, winning colors.
Wire to wire with Gary Stevens in the air.
But the stars were aligned at Pimlico.
The weather changed, the sun came out, the wind cleaned up the track real good.
After deliberating on race day whether to run Risen Star because of a missed work and concern about a wet track, Russell ultimately sent the colt to the starting gate in the Preakness.
Into the final quarter mile, Risen Star has the lead.
Risen Star became the first and only son of Secretariat to capture a Triple Crown race. There was a hiccup in the lead-up to the Belmont Stakes. Risen Star strained his right front ankle and missed training time. Russell was forced to work the colt the day before the mile-and-a-half Belmont. And much to the trainer's dismay, Risen Star blazed 3 furlongs in 33 seconds. If anything, that put Risen Star on his toes.
Past the 8th pole, Risen Star going away. He looks like his daddy at this point.
He and Della Hussein rolled to a 14 3/4 length victory, the largest margin since his sire 15 years earlier.
Risen Star takes the Belmont just like his daddy Secretariat did.
He is the pride of New Orleans and Louisiana. You should have seen the shot we had of the little sisters jumping up and down after the race.
Great. Risen Star salutes New York, New York.
The Belmont win did come at a price. A career-ending injury in the race meant early retirement for Risen Star. After several years at stud, Risen Star suffered a fatal case of colic and died on the exact day he had won the Louisiana Derby 10 years earlier.
Eddie, you were aboard Risen Star for the Derby, your first race, the Preakness and the Belmont. A lot was made of the fact it was your first ride aboard him in the Derby. Do you think if you'd have been a bit more familiar with him, the outcome may have been different?
Maybe, but it's one of those things. You've ridden horses before and you get on them the first time and all you do is look at the form and watch races, and sometimes you do it right the first time and sometimes you do it wrong. But I think what happened that year and that day in the Derby, I think the one hole hurt him, and he didn't show the speed we knew he should be laying closer, and it just didn't pan out. But that's racing.
Did anyone expect Winning Colors to go wire to wire that day in the room?
Well, we knew she'd be on the lead, but we didn't know if she'd keep going. And history showed, and after looking back, she did keep going. And but she was a great racehorse.
And now they're into the stretch, and here comes Santiva. Santiva charging to a short lead. Machin's been switched out for a clear path. Nearest the inside is Mucho Macho Man, who battles for this final furlong. It's Mucho Macho Man in front of Santiva, then Rogue Romance. Machin is fourth for Rajiv Mirage. Mucho Macho Man wins the Risen Star. Santiva second, Rogue Romance third, Machin fourth, Decisive Moment fifth, Mucho Macho Man in 1:43 4.
My horse cooperated and he settled well behind the leaders, and once he settled, I was expecting him to make a big finish, and he sure did.
I'm sure the connections are quite proud of you. This is your first time. Did you feel pretty comfortable aboard this horse in the post parade leading out to the gate?
Well, in the post parade, he did everything right that you'd ask from a horse. He was settled, but he was pretty focused, so he was giving me all the right signals. I've actually been on him already in the morning, so I'm a little bit familiar with the horse, and I've seen him run many times, so it wasn't hard to get acquainted with him.
There were 5 additional stakes races from Fairgrounds on Saturday.
It's Cathman Blue. Cathman Blue and Grand Lioness battling for every yard. And Glorious a late challenger, but it's Cathman Blue. Cathman Blue wins the Rachel Alexandra for her 3rd stakes in a row.
Well, she's all class. She always has been. And I actually think she's a lot better than she even ran today. We're a little conservative with her coming in on her workouts coming into the race. There's a lot of time between now and the Kentucky Oaks, and that obviously is the bigger goal. But she overcame everything. She got a little stirred up with the delay in the previous race, and I guess they had trouble with the gate, and my staff actually was bringing her over. She saw the running of the previous race and was really hard to handle in the paddock. She wasn't her usual self, actually, but she got it done.
And to the final furlong, Dubious Miss, Expansion. Sleepless Night is just in back of the front, working for hops at the rail. It's Dubious Miss and Expansion and Sleepless Night, a 3-way thriller to Expansion on the wire. Expansion was 32-1, and a blanket photo finish with a charging Sleepless Night and Dubious Miss.
I thought it was a really good effort. I know I'm closer than I needed to be, and that told me right there that they were going absolutely too slow. But he was within himself, comfortable, and I had a really good, clean trip.
Now we'll talk to the trainer, Steve Asmussen. How did you get this one ready to go? Had a really good effort coming from off the pace.
Well, the horse has been in California. Scott's done a great job with him out there. He worked super on the turf. Just weren't thinking that the turf course suited him out there. They weren't catching anybody, and he came here. Gerard gave him a great trip today. He was just in a perfect spot with a slow pace, and we're very fortunate to win.
On the outside apart, far outside, here comes Demarcation, charging hard in this final furlong. Demarcation, a last to first move, and it's Demarcation, Mission Impossible, battling hard. Demarcation at Mission Impossible Demarcation. Rosie Napravnik for Paul McGee.
Paul said to just let them fall away and relax back there, and I didn't expect a pace like we ended up having, but I could tell they were flying up front, so I wasn't really worried about it. And he just kicked home hard and ran very well.
And actually, the Mission Impossible, the favorite in the race, actually fought back a little bit late in the stretch.
Yeah, he did scare me a little bit at the end. He was fighting for the win, but my horse was very game as well, and I had plenty of horse left.
Into the final furlong. In front, but only just as Southern Region. Between horses, here comes Strike Impact and Due Date on the outside. It's Due Date and Strike Impact. Due Date and Tony Farina. Due Date at 3 to 5.
He's really come into himself this year, as we were joking, being 6 years old and all. Just a neat old horse, just gives it his all, and 5.5 is really just a great distance for him. Richard and Burton Lane, of course, we've just done always the right thing with him, and he's just kind of been really running great for us lately.
Beautician charging now for Julien Leperoux. Inside the final 16th, here comes Beautician, gunning for Smokey Bell. It's Beautician and the Panzeretta.
Well, she's been a top filly for a long time. I mean, it's a matter of, we really wanted to get a stakes win under her belt. And, you know, Peter Callahan's one of my favorite clients. We've had horses for him for quite a few years. And, you know, it's special to have good people to handle these types of horses for. And, you know, she deserved to be a stakes winner. You know, it's been second in several grade ones, and it was her turn.
You know, it's easy to get caught up in the moment, and the winner, particularly when the winner's like Mucho Macho Man, and the way he did it was the type of race you want to see when you're looking forward to those Derby races.
I'm in 100% agreement. He was a totally different horse today. He settled, he relaxed. There wasn't a lot of pace on, but he allowed Rajiv Mirage to ease him back and sit just off of the pace, and he came home with a flourish. And Rajiv said that he got a little bit lost when he made the lead inside the final 16th, but then he got focused again and went on about his business.
One thing I found very interesting was your comment about Mucho Macho Man when we got a shot to see him in the winner's circle. He is huge. If you haven't seen him in person, when I got up close in the paddock, it looks as if he's even had a growth spurt. Kathy Ritvo was talking about how big he is, tall-wise, but you said he reminded you just a little of another pretty nice horse.
Reminded me a lot of a horse named Real Quiet, who wound up wearing the roses on the first Saturday in May. And the reason I say that, when he was in the winner's circle, he is tall. He looks like he's about 17 hands, and he's got a huge frame to fill out. I think he's going to grow more, but he's very narrow. And Real Quiet's nickname was the Fish, and that's sort of what he reminded me of. He's not ugly, but he's got some filling out to do, so that even gives me more reason that I'm on his bandwagon a little bit.
Well, if it holds true, they'll be singing that Macho Man song a lot, so we better brush up on the lyrics. Exciting day, though, for sure.
After the break on HRTV.
Little baby. Baby. Monday morning, the King's getting ready to go out.
In front of Move Far, Cavango's battling on, and Half Thick wins. Half Thick, and it's the first blow in the Maidan Masters to Kelvin Burrell.
I'm here with trainer Carla Gaines. Hi, Carla.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great, Carla.
Hey, listen, I've got to go watch my horses gallop. Can you hold these guys a minute? And just in case, here's this.
Oh, nice. Nice. Where are we going? We going to the fountain? I think they're walking me. Let's go see John Henry. I tell you what, they told me I should have stayed in school, boys. Good God. Come on, let's go find Carla. No more poos. Okay, boys. Here's your dogs, Carla.
Thank you.
And
sorry about that.
you know,
Ew.
here?
Yeah.
Talk about mildly offensive. That is mildly offensive. And we want to talk to Carla about mildly offensive. You have a maiden in. She's by Sharp Huma out of the multiple graded stakes winning mare. It's personal. She's in. She's drawn the outside. How happy with you with the outside draw?
I guess it's better than the inside, but often, you know, a lot of times first-time starters break to the outside. So, but we'll see.
How's she been training in the morning? She's by Sharp Huma. Her works have been very, very fast.
They have been fast, huh? And that's just her. I mean, you know, without asking her or anything, she's a really nice filly.
Coming for home and mildly offensive, puts them away in a sparkling performance here. Mildly offensive, got a touch of class, strides home very, very easily. Ears pricked, mildly offensive, canters in.
The San Vicente Stakes was a feature race from Santa Anita on Sunday.
Has Bob done any work with the Factor as far as sitting off of horses? I know that he's just so fast. Maybe he'll be alone out there.
Well, I think we would just want a clear trip. I think that in the maiden race, he was able to go a little slower than he's going to be going today to be at the lead. So my hunch is he'll sit off a little bit of the speed, but Bob just wants a clear trip. What happened at Hollywood in the first effort was he got jammed on the rail with nowhere to go, so we don't want to have that strategy. But I think if he's outside of horses, it wouldn't surprise me if he wasn't in the lead or Bob. But I think, you know, the key is what's he doing when he turns for home.
Homeward bound, the Factor goes on. The Factor kicks away smartly. Sway Away is finishing strongly. Premier Pegasus, but the Factor's going to be too good. Sway Away's absolutely flying late. But the Factor, another impressive win. The Factor beat Sway Away. Premier Pegasus was third.
I'm going to ask you something Bob would. Do you have bugs on your teeth?
Yeah, I was early, but I cleaned already.
Tell me about your trip.
Well, it was another horse that it was a lot of speed, but my horse have a lot of speed. He's such a nice horse.
How did he relax for you? That's been one of the main factors, if you'll pardon the pun.
Well, I would say that horse is really smart. So the more you fight, he's gonna fight with you. So the best thing that you can do is just let him be comfortable, and that's exactly what Bob told me. Just let him be whatever he wants to be, and then.
Zoe Cadman caught up with Bob Baffert on First Call Saturday.
Bob, you have two in the San Carlos, Mythical Power and Ventana. What did you think about the draw, the 1 and the 2 hole for the pair of them?
I really hate the draw. I hated to see Mythical back in the 1 and Ventana in the 2. I think Ventana, he's come back and worked very well for this race.
Saturday featured 2 stakes races at Santa Anita, including one of the more thrilling conclusions of the meet.
Now here comes Mythical Power and Smiling Tiger on the grandstand side. 4 of them line up. Ventana, Captain Cherokee, Mythical Power, 1 from the outside. Smiling Tiger, grandstand side, coming home gamely. Smiling Tiger on the outside, Captain Cherokee down at the rail. They're going to hit it together. Smiling Tiger up to beat Captain Cherokee in the San Carlos. Mythical Power a close third. Ventana was...
Alan, how pleased are you with that performance? I know it was a little gut-wrenching in his last start.
I think it was an unbelievable performance because after that start, we looked at each other and went, oh my God. And then, but he kept his calm out there and he really showed his class today. He is one classy horse.
So the 2 favourites come through the lane in the San Luis Obispo. Bourbon Bay on the inside, but Champ Pegasus been very confidently ridden, is right up alongside of him. It's a thriller through the lane. Champ Pegasus, Joel Rosario, Bourbon Bay and Rafael Bejarano nose extremely close.
I just can't, not take a strong hold, and the horse, the one horse, he slowed down too much, and, just running a little bit over him, but but I got up very good, very quick, so, he do everything right.
Gulfstream featured 3 stakes races this weekend, including the Grade 2 Mac de Armida Stakes.
Amen, hallelujah, not running with her, and Awesome Maria is coming back with a spectacular effort in the Sabin. Amen, hallelujah was second. Catch it. It's Prince Will.I.Am in front. Rahi's attorney, pool play. Prince Will.I.Am wins the McDermott. Then came Rahi's attorney. It's Kirtana in front. Zapparition running a big one. Kirtana's got it though. Kirtana has won the very one. Then Zapparition second, followed by Musical Rain, and fourth was either Changing Skies or Bell Watling.
That's all for HRTV's Rewind this week. Here's what's coming up next week.
Heads are turned for home. Is this to be 1,000 for Joel Rosario? Joel Rosario and Cuckachoo are clear by 3. In the paint, battling in second. Tamborim is back third. An 1/8 of a mile to go now, and Cuckachoo is still clear by 4. Big lengths with a 16th to go. And you can put a ring around number 1,000 for Joel Rosario. It'll come aboard Cuckachoo. Cuckachoo, 1,000 for Joel Rosario.
Is that what you told Joe Rosario?
I told him his soul belongs to Jesus and his tail will be mine if he's not on the lead.
Welcome back. Zoe Cadman caught up with Kinsale Kings connections in a Monday HRTV diary.
Little baby. Baby. Monday morning, the King's getting ready to go out. Runs on Thursday at the Big G, Golden Gate. What do you think, King? Want some tea? It's decaf. Is this the same plan as last year, run at Golden Gate and ship to Dubai?
Hopefully. I mean, last year we went there and we worked him, obviously. This year we opted to maybe try and get a race filled for him, and with the help of Golden Gate, and they were very accommodating, I guess is the word to use. And, you know, he's probably going to need the race, but it's better than up there working him. So hopefully we get lucky.
It's weigh-in time. 12:20, fat boy. Is he as good as he was last year?
Yeah, I think so. We got his feet under control. Obviously, he's put a lot of weight on. He's heavy at the moment, but you know, he'll probably suck some of that off, and then hopefully he'll win that. The flight to Dubai will take another chunk of it off, and he'll be weighing in at the same time as last year.
Yeah, you look a little skinny.
Yeah, I'm ready for my Valentine's Day.
Hi, Kingy. Ready to go, aren't you? There he is, Kinsale King. Team Callahan. Smile! Comes the King. Hail the King. Hail the King. Hail the King.
Calvin Burrell traveled halfway across the world and came back with a Maidan Masters Championship.
There's Hathek going forward for Calvin Burrell and Ali Rashid Arai. He's joining gate number 8. Will he be able to get the rail? Terry will describe proceedings for you.
He'll have to do some fancy steering, I suppose, coming out of gate number 8 if he wants that fence. And here comes Kelvin on Hathek. He's nowhere near the rail. He's out in the centre of the track. It's Kelvin wide with 100 metres left to go, but Hathek has taken the lead. Hathek in front of Move Far. Kavango's battling on, and Hathek wins. Hathek, and it's the first blow in the Maidan Masters to Calvin Burrell. Okay, we need to know what happened amongst the cap catchers to determine the winner of the Maidan Masters. Ryan was 76, Kelvin 85.
There's Calvin Burrell with Marty Tolti and Frank Gabriel, the CEO of the Dubai Racing Club. You can take a look at all the jockeys. They're going to pose for a photo again. That's Gerard Mosse shaking hands with Calvin Burrell, Richard Hughes, Richard Hills, who's behind Gerard Mosse's there. You can see on the right is Frankie Dettori. And there we are. No funner moment in life for Calvin Burrell at this moment.
The Grade 2 Barbara Fritchie handicap was the feature race from Laurel on Saturday.
Harissa and Aspen Glow head and head for the final furlong. Moving into third outside is Fascinating Rhythm, but it's Harissa and Ramon Dominguez taking the lead from Aspen Glow, who battles on, but second best to Harissa and the Barbara Fritchie handicap. Ramon Dominguez and Harissa to win by 2.
Yes, it worked out great. She was very sensible, came away from there alert, but at the same time relaxed, where she allowed me to place her where she needed to be. And when I got her to the clear, she was just taking me as I please, and a lot of home turning for home.
Next on HRTV.
Captain Cherokee down at the rail. They're going to hit it together. Smiling Tiger up to beat Captain Cherokee in the San Carlos. Mythical Power.
But I think if he's outside of horses, it wouldn't surprise me if he wasn't in the lead or Bob. But I think, you know, the key is what's he doing when he turns for home.